What's good YouTube? Target here and welcome to another episode of Design and Manage, my city Skylines and modded Let's Play series. On the last episode we have fixed some existing traffic problems that were occurring in our city, and even though we are not quite finished with that, I think today we are going to take a break from that task and we are going to do something different. We are going to place a very special building in our city. We will place the stadium. That's right, so without further ado, let me just get away from the cinematic camera and tell you what I have in mind. Okay, so I've been thinking about this for quite some months actually, which is the best location to place the stadium, and I've always had the idea of placing it in a mountain. And yeah, that's right, I think I'm going to make an artificial mountain that will go right about over here next to this interchange, and I will put the stadium right on top of it in this location that I'm highlighting with my mouse, so that people that are watching the game actually have a view from the entire city. I think it's going to turn out pretty epic, and I think the real challenge is actually going to be making the mountain fit in such a plain city. As you can see, this is a very plain terrain, so very little landfill on this area of the city. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge to make the whole thing fit. But yeah, I'm definitely up for the challenge. So what I think I'm gonna do now is, first things first, is remove these entire trees around this location, because I like to work with a blank slate. I will also work on the terraforming and try to make an interesting shape. I don't know how much I'm gonna take doing this, and because of that, as usual, I'm going to turn everything into a time-lapse. So guys, let's get down to business, let's do it, and hopefully we will end up with something very interesting that does not ruin the landscape of this city. So without further ado, enjoy the time-lapse, guys. Alright guys, it's time for a quick progress update. I have just worked on the basic layout and landscaping of this entire thing. I still need to decorate everything with trees and also work on some more details regarding terraforming, but for now I think we are done with the basic layout, so let me just show you how this thing works. Alright, so the core of our build is definitely this stadium. As you can see over here, I have already placed and also turned it off because I don't have this layout prepared to receive visitors. Regarding the layout, as you can see, I have put everything into a big mountain, or at least I tried to put the stadium as a central point of the mountain on the highest spot. This stadium has also a few accesses regarding roads. So the first thing that I've done is actually work on this interchange over here. So now what we can do is actually get on this off-ramp and come about at this bridge over here and take a left, as you can see all these trucks are doing, and connect to this highway as we had on the previous part before building this. Or you can actually turn right and go through this tunnel. Let me just show you this. Go over here. That will eventually lead to this portion of the layout over here, where you can pretty much go straight ahead through this bridge and connect to the roundabout that was already here, that will connect to the industrial sector. Or you can also turn left over here and go through this this bay, I guess, because this is a lake filled with water, where you can turn left and eventually get access to the stadium, or turn right and go to this part of the layout. Likewise, you also have other accesses to the stadium. For example, this bridge over here, which leads you through a very big tunnel, or not very big, but somehow steep tunnel, that will eventually connect to this part over here, where you can go straight ahead through the highway, through this bridge, and connect to the city. Or you can turn left and go again through this road that will eventually connect to the coastal avenue that we already have over here. And yeah, of course, we have a forest fire interrupting me. How cute is that? I also had to work on our rail connection because this thing pretty much had to adjust to the terrain. So now what we have is this gigantic railroad that goes right along the lake, that I think looks beautifully, and comes over here, goes through this bridge. Oh, and by the way, I put the radio tower over here, and I managed to have the cables connect to every single point of the land, with the exception of this one that goes on water. But anyway, I think this is an awesome location for the radio tower, so I think we'll keep it. And yeah, we were talking about the rail. Yeah, the rail pretty much keeps going forward and connects to the already existing layout. And finally, one of the things that I've decided to do that turned out pretty well, I believe, is this a water connection. Or this lake, should I say, this lake combined with a river. I pretty much terraformed this entire thing to bring the water from the river all the way to this location to make it much more interesting. And just like I said, I think it turns out pretty awesome. As I've said, this is not the final layout, because in the future I want to work more on the details of this thing. For example, I think this river is, it looks like it's manually terraformed, and I don't like that. I want to add a few more details, maybe some rocks, and also some spikes of the terrain, which I believe will make it much more interesting. And of course, I also need to place some trees in this entire location. I also have other plans for this area. For example, over here on this road, I think I will put some low density commercial, some small shops. And on this bay, I may terraform it a bit better and make it a bit bigger, where I will place some restaurant piers pretty much, and some marinas. I believe it will turn out pretty well. And maybe actually not even marinas. I think I'll put a lot of fishing piers, because it seems like a very quiet place to fish, don't you guys think? Before enabling the stadium, there's actually some things that I want to work on regarding the usability. So I have already developed the road layout, so this thing is pretty much covered, but I still need to add public transport options that lead people to the stadium, and also I want to provide some pedestrian pathways. So one of the things that I can do right now is start with a pedestrian pathway that will lead people to the stadium, and what I think I'm gonna do is a small connection that will lead similar to this road. I will make a pedestrian pathway that comes from here and connects over here. So let's try and do this. I think I want to make a connection that is at about the same height level as this road, and I think I'll bring it all the way here. Maybe I should lower it a bit more, maybe like this, to be somehow horizontal, but this thing is not perfectly parallel, so let me work on that. I think I'll have the pathway connect to about over here, next to this walkway or this crosswalk. So I will make the pathway come at about here along the road, and now I need to find a way to connect these two segments together. So let's try and terraform this thing, and hopefully I will not mess up anything, but there's just one way to find out. So I think I will start lowering the terrain at about here, and I need to increase it a bit more, maybe at about this point. How about that? And let's try and make a small ramp. Okay, this is actually not that good. Let me try this again. Okay, over here. That's way better. And now let's try to make a quick connection. Hopefully I will have this thing work just fine. Maybe if I'll come over here and I'll connect it at about here. No, this doesn't turn out okay. I need to follow this smooth slope, maybe here. Okay, much better. And now I'll just have to continue and connect to this thing. Okay, that's great. And now I'll just connect this thing over here, if I can do that. Let me just try and do this. Alright, pretty good, pretty awesome. And finally, I'll just have to connect these two segments. Hopefully I can do it very smoothly, like this. Okay, I believe that's okay. And let's just connect it over here. That's pretty good. And now we need to find a way to connect it over here as well. But this is going to be way too steep, so I need to raise the height level of this road pretty much. I believe this is it. Yeah, that's fine. And now let's just activate the guides and connect everything again, and now we have a very awesome pedestrian pathway. Now we just have to connect it to this road. That will be the easiest part, hopefully. Alright, and there we go. Pathway is made. Okay guys, now I want to work on the public transport options for the stadium, but before I do that, I think I'm gonna activate it and see how people interact with the stadium. So I need to find a way to provide power first and foremost. We cannot forget about that, so I think I'm gonna come and continue this power line. Hopefully I can do this without messing anything up. Let's just try and go along the terrain. I do not want to mess up the landscaping. And come about here. Okay. Regarding water, I'll definitely need to provide some more water to this building. So let's just continue this pipe all the way over here. It should be fine, at least for now. And yeah, let's just activate this thing and see how it works. And I don't know if you guys know this, if you follow my City of Garden scenario series, but this panel is way different than what we are used to see. I'll touch on this a bit later on, but for now let's just activate this thing and see what people do with it. Oh, look at that. People are heading towards the stadium already. Look at this, guys. Look at that. They're using our pathway. It's pretty awesome. Let's see if we have a few cars coming in. Yes, we do. And we have a lot of people coming in right now. And I wonder, can I see the schedule? Oh yes, it is the 24th of the 5th. We are in March. 27 March. It's in about 2 months pretty much that we have people coming in already, because that's how the game AI works. Before the match begins, I wanna work on some things. First and foremost, I wanna change the color of the stadium. So the thematic of this series is pink, so we're gonna have a pink football team. Yes, we will, and I'm sorry about that. But I think it looks amazing. Yeah, look at that, that's pretty awesome. The road layout seems to be handling the amount of cars very well. So we have a lot of cars coming into the stadium. As you can see, most of them are parked in here already. And yeah, these roads are pretty much taking care of that very well. I wanna disable these parking spots though, so I'm gonna select this entire thing. Oh yes, and this needs to become a one-way, like this. That's pretty good. And now all of this needs to become roads with trees, and also all this way around. Okay, that's great. And I'll leave these roads as normal roads. Alright guys, I have activated the day-night cycle, and hopefully we will be able to see the match during the nighttime. Hopefully it will be pretty awesome, but there's only one way to find out. I also want to fix this pathway because I don't like how there's this gap, so let me just pause the simulation and go get the pedestrian pathway, disable all the guides and come to the furthest point possible. And I think that will be it. Yeah, that's good. Resume the simulation, and we are now almost at match time. So it's at 27th of May. We are at the 20th of April. So regarding this panel, we can pretty much see what's going on. So this is the amount of visitors that we have, and this is the maximum capacity, which is 750. This is how much we are spending. This is the name of the theme that you can pretty much only change when you change the name of the city. In this case, it's Design and Manage. And this is the schedule of our next match. So we're going to play against the Rock Valley FC. This is the history of games. I do not have any game played yet, even though I have a cancelled game, which is when I placed the stadium for the first time and then I turned it off, so the game got cancelled. This is the total amount of games won versus games lost. This is the ticket price. You can pretty much increase or decrease the ticket price, which will influence the amount of people that will come to watch the game, and will also impact the revenue that we'll get from each game. And these are customized policies. So what we have is the come on come all, which pretty much makes public transport free during the match day, so you'll have a lot more visitors, but you'll make no revenue from buses. Match security will pretty much raise the effectiveness of the police around the stadium for a cost, but it will increase the safety around this location. And finally, the subsidized use will pretty much increase the odds of your team winning the game for a small cost of 9,000 per stadium. For now, I'm not gonna touch any of these. I don't think they're worth it. I just wanted to explain to you what they do. But anyway, we are almost at match day, and it seems that the sun is already setting. Hopefully we will be able to get the game when it's already nighttime, which is something that I really want to see. And there we go, guys. Look at it. The match is starting. We can see the players playing on the field, which is pretty much awesome. and the crowds are pretty much full of people. And yeah, we still have people coming in. That's great. Let's just check. We have almost 600 visitors out of 750, which is a very well. And it's already nighttime. And this whole thing looks just freaking amazing. Look at that, guys. I cannot wait until I decorate all of this thing with some trees and also some low density commercial buildings on the outskirts. While the match takes place, I want to go ahead and work on the public transport options for this area. And I think I'm gonna opt with buses. I think they will be the most efficient way of getting into the stadium. I believe the best public transport option would be the metro, but unfortunately I have my lines coming through this location, so I don't think it will be a good idea to place a metro line over here, especially because this is on the mountainside. So I'm gonna opt with buses, like I've said, and I think I will make a line that connects the public transport hub directly to the stadium. So I'll start a line at about over here, and I will connect it directly to this location right about over here, and I will connect it back. This will be a super direct route, and there we go. So the first line is made, and I also want to make another one that will bring people from the train station directly. So I will place a bus line at about over here, and yes, I know I need to provide bus lines to this entire area because we have no bus lines here, but we'll pretty much continue this line and connect it at about over here. Okay, and we'll simply connect it back. Alright, and now I want to change the color of them just so we can tell them apart. And since they are the lines that connect to our stadium and the stadium is pink, I'm gonna turn these lines pink. So here we have it, and here we have it as well. We now have a full pink lines that connect to the stadium. That's awesome. You know, it's a shame that you cannot see the current score of the match. I would like to know if we're winning or losing, but I don't think there's a way to find out that. If you know of a way to find out the current score, please let me know. Oh, there we go. And it seems that we lost our first match, which is a shame, pretty much, yeah. Unfortunately, we lost the first match, and look at the amount of people getting out of the stadium. That's crazy, they're all going home. This is a lot of people. This is actually a good time to see if our layout is prepared to deal with the amount of people getting out of here, and it seems that we have a lot of problems in this entrance roundabout, which I believe it's no big deal, because as long as traffic remains here and doesn't spread to other locations, I think that will be fine. The most problematic areas would be the interchanges and the highway connections, which is something that I do not want to happen. But yeah, it seems to be working out just fine, and the buses are already arriving, so we should now see and start seeing some passengers using these buses. Let's just check this out. And oh, apparently most of them, there's a lot of them taking taxis actually, so what I think I can do is provide a taxi stand and to address that existing need, and I think I'm gonna put one at about let's see, yeah, we'll put one over here, and hopefully taxis will stop here to pick up passengers in the future. One thing that I forgot to mention is when you play a match, you will get a huge amount of income. So as you can see over here, I had over 20,000, and that's because you are pretty much earning the amount that your citizens pay for the tickets. So yeah, adding a stadium can be a huge source of income as well. Before I wrap up this episode, I wanna make this thing into a district and name it after one of our followers. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. First and foremost, I wanna adjust this district over here, and kinda like this. There we go. Try to make it as perfect as possible. And now I will make a district that will cover this entire area. Alright, the district is drawn and now it's time to name it after my follower. And this is a name that I have picked a long time ago for this particular district. And I'm gonna name it after a Kazo Lele. There we go. And Kazo is someone that has been following me for a long time. He's a huge Besiktas fan from Turkey and he's always been bothering me to go to visit him at Turkey in Besiktas. And even though that is not in my plans for now, I can at the very least name my football district after you. I think you'll like it a lot, or at least I hope so. And let me just wrap up this district naming. You know, because this entire district is based on a mountain, I'm gonna call it a Kazolele mountain. I think that is a fitting name. And there we go, it will pretty much stay here. But anyway guys, that's going to be it for today. We have managed to make a huge amount of progress. On the next episode I want to work on this area a bit more. I want to add a few more details, zone everything with trees, and hopefully I will be able to implement a crazy idea that I have right now, which is provide a cable car connection that will pretty much connect the stadium on the top of the mountain to the city that is right on the sea level. But again, that's a crazy idea that will hopefully be material for the next episode. But that will be it for today guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If so, please give it a like, it will help out my channel. Also don't forget to subscribe if you want to follow the development of this city. If you enjoyed the video and have any suggestions for future things that I should build in the future, please leave a comment. And finally, if you want to connect with me on social media, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Thank you so much for watching guys, and as always, have fun!